Okay, so here's the video for 5.1.5. So previously in 5.1.4, we noticed or were able to start with a table, create the factors, actually we found the x-intercepts. By using the x-intercepts, we were able to create the roots. Then by getting the roots, we were able to create the factors. So then we were able to kind of back our way up to the actual equation after we calculated A. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to be able to piece together the graphs and the equations. All right, so here's how I'm going to approach this. I'm actually going to take a look at the graphs and identify the x-intercepts first. So if I take a look at question number 1 here, I see that I've got an x-intercept at -7, 0 and an x-intercept at 4, 0. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite those as roots. Okay, so this is saying that x is equal to -7. Now I'm going to rewrite it as a factor. Remember, we add the 7 over to the other side. We basically just try to push the number and the variable together. Okay, x plus 7 equals 0. All right, so I'm going to use that x plus 7. And then let's go over here. We'll do the exact same process. X equals 4. Okay, let's move the 4 over. So that's going to give me x minus 4 equals 0. All right, so the first thing that I am going to do, kind of process of elimination here, because I know I've got the equation. I just need to find the right one. All right, it's not in factored form. Okay. So what I would have done was look to see if I had an x plus 7 times an x minus 4, which I don't. It's not in my choices down here because it looks like most of these are in standard form. So I think we're going to have to multiply this out. So let's do y equals. And I'm going to imagine, really, just for the time being, that the A is, well, I think I need to look at whether this is concave up or concave down to figure out if A is going to be positive or negative, and then hopefully whittle it down from there. Well, if you take a look at this, or think about what I said in class, kind of place your hand flat, so palm flat, and then imagine putting your hand at the vertex. And then ask yourself, do you have to curl your hand up to kind of cup around the graph? Or do you curl your hand down to cup around the graph? And it looks like this one, it's up. So that means that this is concave up. If it's concave up, A is a positive number. It's actually kind of nice. We can see it directly from the equation. Now, since I don't really know what it is yet, I'm going to call it 1 for now. So I may end up having to come back and fix that. But I just want a positive number to put there. All right, now let's bring the factors over. So I had an x plus 7 and an x minus 4. I also think the directions say find the equations that could match this. All right, so that could match. Take a look at my options. I don't have any of those. All right, let's actually multiply this out. So if I multiply this out, I have the 1 in front. I think that's going to give me an x squared plus 3x minus 28. Okay, let's look and see if that's an option. X squared plus 3x minus 28. I think I see it. And then if I multiply that 1 through, you guys know that having a 1 in front, so multiplying a 1 through, doesn't really do us any good or make any changes to it. Okay, so I think 1 matches with B. So down here, I'm going to say that's number 1. All right, so I'm going to follow the exact same process. Let's take a look at question number 2. X-intercepts, all right, so x equals -6, add the 6 to the other side, I'll get x plus 6 equals 0, okay, and then x equals -4, add the 4 to the other side, x plus 4 equals 0. Okay, let's look at those factors, x plus 6 and x plus 4. So I'm looking at the bottom. No, I don't see anything that's just x plus 4 times x plus 6. All right, let's start writing the equation. So get y equals, take a look at it, determine if it's concave up or concave down. Looks like it's up, which means A is positive. I don't really know what it is exactly, so let's put a 1 there and see. If I had more points, I could tell you what it is. I don't. All right, let's put our factors in here. Got x plus 6 and x plus 4. All right, I'm going to take a look at the equation options again. I still don't see it. All right, so let's multiply this out. So y equals x squared plus 10x plus 24. Now look at my equations again. I think I see it. I think this is C. And then even if I multiply the 1 out, I think we're good. Y equals x squared plus 10x plus 24. Now let's find that. Y equals x squared plus 10x plus 24. All right, I think that's number 2. So that's the process I'm going to go through. Now, question 3 is a little different, only because there's one x-intercept. Okay. If you have this situation where the graph looks like the vertex is located on the x-axis, when that's the case, we have something very special. We have x equals -3, which is fine. We'll go ahead and solve that. Get x plus 3 equals 0. However, here's the special part. Since the vertex is on the x-axis, this is the only x-intercept, but we know that this is going to have to be an x squared. Well, if x plus 3 is the only x-intercept, then I think this x plus 3 is going to be counted twice. Another way to view it, if you take a look at the graph, if it looks like the graph is bouncing off the x-axis, then that x plus 3 is going to be squared. So that bouncing tells us that this is squared. Okay, so I think what I'm starting with here is y equals, it's concave up, so a +1. And I think this is going to be x plus 3 squared. It's got to count twice. All right, let's look and see if that's one of them. Oh, it is. It's A. Okay. So this one matches with A. So I would say that that is number 3. So I'm going to go through and do that process and do the exact same thing. So why don't you see if you can try number 4. So 4 has 2 x-intercepts, so none of that bouncing business that just happened at number 3. So 4 is just like 1 and 2. Why don't you see if you can find the equation? Okay, so taking a look at number 4, I had an x-intercept at 0, so x equals 0. Notice that the x and the number are already together, so you don't have to do anything. And then x equals 4, so I subtracted my 4 to the other side. So I have x and x minus 4. So inside the yellow box by question number 4, you can see I put that 1 in there because it's concave up, so positive in front. It could have been a 2, a 3, a 5, a 7, a 8. I don't really know, but I do know it's positive. And then I took my factors, my x and my x minus 4, and then I inspected what I had here as options, and it looked like it's G. Okay, now 5, here's my warning on this one. Notice that this is concave down. So yes, you're still going to have an A, but if it is concave down, then A is going to be a negative number. Since I don't have any other points, I'm just going to assume for now that the A is -1. So let's try 5. Okay, so for question number 5, I wrote my x-intercepts as roots. So x equals -2, x equals +2. Then I wrote them as factors. So I moved the respective 2's over, the +2 and the -2. And then I highlighted those. So I have an x plus 2 and an x minus 2. Then because it's concave down, if you take a look in front of so take a look at my equation on number 5. Because it's concave down, I put that -1 in front that I just boxed in orange. Now, I know it's negative. I don't know that it's 1, but I do know that it's negative. And then I assessed the situation, took a look, and none of the equations matched. So I had to multiply it out. So x plus 2 and x minus 2 gives me x squared minus 4. And then I looked at the equations at the bottom. Nope, still don't have it. Okay, so then from here, I went ahead and distributed that negative sign. And that gave me negative x squared plus 4, and then I found it. It was letter D. Okay, and then the last one is 6. I'm not super thrilled by these x-intercepts, and I'm not a big fan of putting fractions and stuff, but I have what I think is kind of a cheap way to make this easier. So I'm still going to rewrite them as x equals -1/2. But I don't want a fraction. So since the denominator is 2, I am going to use that 2 and I'm going to multiply the entire equation by 2/1. Just try to eliminate it. So if I do that and I distribute it through, so that's going to give me 2 times x, which is 2x, and then 2 times -1/2. The 2's are going to cancel. That's why I did this. Then I think I'm just going to go, well, equals. I think I'm going to get -1. Okay, I feel better about this now. Let's go ahead and do the +1 to the other side. All right, so I have 2x plus 1 equals 0. All right, so 2x plus 1 is going to be one of the factors. All right, let's do the same thing over here. So I get x is equal to 3/2. All right, the denominator is the only issue I have. It's the 2. So let's multiply by 2/1. So I'm basically just trying to eliminate the denominator. I just don't want fractions. Plus, if you look at all of my answer choices, there's no fractions in them. All right, by doing that, that's going to give me 2x when I multiply equals, 2's cancel, 3. Okay, minus the 3 on the other side. Looks like I get 2x minus 3 equals 0. Okay, there's my other factor. All right, kind of run out of space here. Where can I put my work for this one? Let's put it in the bottom left. So I'm going to go underneath part G. I know this looks a little crowded, but we almost have all of it on the right page. So I'm going to take this and put an orange box around this one. So orange box number 6. And I'm going to take all of that stuff and take it down to the bottom. So I'm going to have 2x plus 1, 2x minus 3. All right. 2x plus 1. Y equals, I'm going to leave a little space because I haven't really looked at the graph yet. 2x plus, so 2x plus 1, 2x plus 1, and 2x minus 3. Okay, now take a look at the concavity. It's concave up. All right, so that means that the A in front is going to be positive. I don't know what it is exactly, but it's definitely positive. Take a look at my answers. None of them match this. All right, well, let's multiply it out then. So if I multiply this out, I would get y is equal to, okay, I think that's going to give me a 4. Oh, I still have the 1 out in front. That's going to give me a 4x squared. I think that's going to be a -5x. I don't think it is actually. So that's -6x and positive 2x. So minus 4x. Minus 3. All right, let's take a look at my equations. Yep, there it is. Okay, so the last one, put an orange box around it. And it's right over here. So it looks like I was number 6. And then what I have down here, little note to myself, this was number 6 continued. So in this case, I had more equations than I had graphs, but I was at least able to extract the x-intercepts from the graph. So Sounds kind of like what we did in the last notes, 5.1.4. And then take those and rewrite them as roots, rewrote them as factors, and then try to compare it based off of the factored form that's here. If it didn't match, then I multiplied it out. And I was able to match up all of the graphs.